Okay.
So Nick, how would you like us to begin? You want me to say a few words?
Yeah, if you'd like to say a few words, Scott, that's fine. And then I was just going to turn it over to Evergreen to give an overview
Sure.
of what they're planning to develop.
Sure. Well, I too would like to thank Evergreen for taking the time to talk to our community about your development project. We have had a fair amount of infill projects in our neighborhood, and we appreciate having the opportunity to talk through it and understand your project at this stage of the process. We have several questions that we hope that you are able to answer during your brief, or if not, maybe we can return to them. And I'll just list them so that you're aware of what some of our questions and concerns might be. First of all, while there's no homes that are directly downstream from the property, we'd still like to know what's being done for stormwater runoff remediation, and what kind of grading will the property, the new dwellings have? Will they be at the same level as the rest of the homes, or will they be raised up? Next, we just wanted to understand what the aesthetic blend with the existing dwellings is going to be. Is it going to be similar in style, or is it going to be significantly different? Third, I'd like to understand the driveway cuts on Bellevue Boulevard and Fort Hunt Road, and how you're going to avoid the turn lane on Fort Hunt Road. Fourth, utilities, will they be above ground or in ground? Fifth, are there any zoning exceptions that need to be considered? And sixth, the time frame for the development. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to you for your discussion and brief, and maybe have some opportunities for members of the community to ask questions also at the end of it. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll answer these with a couple different people. So I'm going to answer the ones that I'll do, and then I'll turn this over to Mike and then Petros if he wants to join in. I am not aware of zoning exceptions on any of these submissions. Mike, is that? I'm not aware of any. I mean, we have, I think the plan reviews on, but I'm not specifically aware. And Petros, so you understand, I'm basically oversee all operations. Petros is the actual VP of operations that handles basically the operational side from point of sale all the way through the end, and then Mike handles the land development. So I do not know all the details of every property. I'm going to start here and go down the order. The stormwater management remediation, we purchased 7 lots, and we are treating it as 7 lots. I believe there was a special exception which allowed the church to be placed over that. So we're treating this as 7 individual infill lots, and the stormwater management has to be maintained and managed on the lots. So that's all part of the plan review process. I believe at this time we have two permits. We have everything is submitted, but we've had 2 of the permits issued for lots 4 and lot 12. Petros that are not. I'm sorry, we have 5 that are issued. The 2 that aren't are lots 4 and lot 12. So we're basically 5 of the 7 permits have been issued. The looks of our houses, we're a very prominent builder in Northern Virginia, and I would basically ask you, if you want to see what the houses look like, just go to our website, evergreenhomes.com, and go to the Northern Virginia, and you'll see every house that we have to offer. Now, down here at this community, we are offering our Addison 2 plan, which is a relatively new design, and our Camden plan, which is also a new design, and there is a Poplar model type, and I think a Carlisle on the, and we have a Chapman. So there's basically 5 different product lines, and those are they're very popular houses. And the best way to describe them is just look up on the website and you'll see them, all the elevations, all the color schemes. Pictures speak 1,000 words. So I would suggest you, that would be the best way. You did ask a question about the driveways on
This one here specifically.
on Bellevue. So Michael address the answer of the driveway on Bellevue Boulevard.
So the current driveway that's on Bellevue that is access for the church is going to be shifted up a little bit north, or yeah, I guess, is that north? That'd be west.
West, I'm sorry. You're right.
It'll be shifted a little bit west, and that will be the only access, which is to Lot 1. Everything else will be coming off of Fort Hunt Road or off of Bluebill Lane. So Lot 1 is coming off of Bellevue Boulevard, and that is a little bit further from the intersection of Fort Hunt Road.
Your question about the utilities, our utilities, there are some existing overhead utilities out there along Fort Hunt Road, and I think Bellevue, I'm not sure. What we're moving, we have to move a signal.
There's a traffic light, like a school light.
A school light that has to be relocated. All of our new utilities will be underground.
So they're going to be fed from the overhead lines. Those lines will not be removed, but they'll direct bury to the house.
And Scott, does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess the lines have to stay there because they feed other properties. Is that the deal?
Yeah, they feed a lot of stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Mark, this is Danielle Dees. I live on Bluebill. Can you just back up a little bit and help me understand? I think you guys closed on the lots last summer. Is the delay or just the non-action that we've seen just a permit issue? I'm very concerned. I've seen, some behavior on those lots now that they're not really occupied anymore that's concerning as a neighbor. So can you give us an update on when construction would commence?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
So we are waiting on permits. I think we still have lots 4 and 12, and 12 is also off of Bluebill Lane. We have permits for lots. Our intention is to do it all at the same time, and we're waiting for all permits to be approved to start. However, I think we're going to start on lots 10 and 11 sooner, which would we're looking at about two weeks to start. So that is the corner of Bluebill Lane and Bellevue Boulevard, and then that existing parking lot, which is our middle lot that fed that church. That will be, we're intending to start that at the same time.
So we're going to take the first house in the parking lot down in hopes that while that is going on, the other 2 permits will be issued. And then we're going to treat it all as basically 7 lots under construction. The biggest challenge is the removal of the church. I mean, that's what's going to be the time consuming. And then there's some dewatering devices necessary for that. So as I'm sure you all live there, this is very low ground. There's a lot of groundwater. So we understand that, and we're taking the precautions in the development of these 7 lots into account so that it doesn't cause anybody or us or anybody else any issues down the road. So in a couple weeks, you'll see us break ground out there. The hope is that once that first phase is done, we can roll right into the rest of it. But until those are issued, we don't know. I think we're close. Petros, do you have a reading on those last 2 lots as to when you think they'll be out?
I want to say in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we should have them approved.
Okay. So in that case, then, Danielle, we'll start and just continue to roll through it. So the way that this is going to work for us is sort of not typical. We are going to put the foundations of the houses in so that we're surrounded by 3 roads. One's a busy road, so we need to balance the site and handle all the earthwork at one time. So, that's why we need all the permits. So, we'll go in and remove the one house in the parking lot. Then we have a staging area on some of the other lots. Then we have to remove, raise the church that's there. And then we have to deal with the groundwater and basically put the foundations in and any dewatering devices. And at that point in time, the whole area gets cleaned up and it just becomes a home building operation, and we'll just basically hop from one house to the next. So I don't expect these to take long to sell. So I think it will, and we'll spec all these foundations. So I think it will be a pretty, once we start, our goal is to not leave till we're done.
Okay, thank you for that update.
So that answers the timing. And Petros, the one thing, and I am not aware of any zoning exceptions that are necessary. Are you in part of the permitting process and civil side?
There's no zoning exceptions.
And I know the
there.
reviewers are here. I don't know if you guys know of any. I'm not aware of any. So, okay. So Sean's saying that there isn't. Okay. So Scott, I think I've answered the 6 questions. I'm not sure if you all have any more, or we'll be happy to answer what anybody has.
Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Kay Bushman. I'm also with the neighborhood. You talked about when the properties would start, but when would they construction finish on these houses?
Well, that's $1 million question these days. The average build time on one of our single family detached homes should be 5 months. We are in, this is my 41st year in residential construction, and I've never seen supply chain issues like we're dealing with now. So our cycle time has been, I don't know what I just did, but there you go. Our cycle time has grown. I'm not real happy as an operations person. I'm not real happy about that, but this is a 4-month development.
I'd say 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 month development process. So you will see the foundations going before all that's done. Then the development will get done and we'll start building houses. So I mean, you know, our goal would be to get all these done by the first quarter of next year. But again, there are serious supply chain issues right now. And I used to get windows. I mean, we built 231 homes last year, and we used to get windows in 2.5 weeks. Now we get them in 17 weeks, and we only get 80% completion on the delivery. So I have appliances that were due in May of last year I still don't have. So it's a really tough question to answer. I mean, we're not delaying the starts. So we, as a company, we've decided we sell a house, we're going to start it, we're going to move forward and do what we got to do. So there's not going to be a lot of lollygagging. We're going to start it, we're going to finish it. It is, I call it a high profile site. It's surrounded by 3 roads. It's a busy road. So, you know, we understand the effects on the community, and, you know, we'll keep that in mind. During the land development process, Mike is the point of contact. So if there's, if questions, concerns, you would address them to Mike. Scott, we can get you, if we get your email, I think I have your email, or if Nick could forward it, we'll send you some contact information on during the development process. And then once it becomes a home building operation, one of the house project managers will take it over. We believe that will be Jacob. It just depends on, you know, we are, and we're also getting ready to start the month of April, which is filled with rain showers. So, you know, there could be some delays with that, but, you know, Jacob should be the project manager, and we'll forward, whoever the project manager ends up being, we'll forward the information to you. So you have one point of contact. If there's, you know, concerns, you can contact Petros, you can contact myself, and we'll, you know, we'll figure out what it is and get back to you. I mean, we'll, you know, if you want to meet on site, you know, just to kind of talk things out, Mike can meet you on site, or I can meet you during the week. We just, you know, whatever it takes. So we're all in this together. So
thank you for that kind offer. I do have a couple of clarifying questions. If you could go into a little bit more detail. Are you going to be changing the grade of the lots to accommodate the homes you're building? Are you going to, like, kind of raise them up a little bit from what was there, or are you going to keep them at grade? And does that have any potential impact on the adjacent homes?
So to answer the question in reverse, no, it will not have any impact, negative or positive, on the adjacent homes. The 3 lots up on Bluebill are about the same. I think we're raising the basement elevations of the 4 lots, or 3 of the 4 lots, to I think it's an elevation that's 2 foot above the basement floor of the existing church. The existing church has sump pumps that run constantly. We're trying to basically get out of the groundwater for our future homeowners, which I'm hoping they appreciate that. But that is the dewatering method part that I talked about earlier. We are aware of the elevations, we are aware of the groundwater, and we are trying to stay out of them. The houses are a little different construction and floor to floor heights than the church. So it isn't a huge difference, but it's a different enough to help that we get up and out of that water.
And just to clarify on the street, the driveway cuts, the house on the corner of Fort Hunt and Bellevue Boulevard will have a driveway on Bellevue Boulevard.
Correct.
And then the other houses on Fort Hunt will have driveways on Fort Hunt. Is that right?
Right. And then the other 3 will have driveways on Bluebill.
Okay. And you're with that design, you can avoid having a driveway and the turn lane. Is that correct?
Here, it's pushed up.
I believe we're above the turn lane, but so the answer would be yes.
Okay, good. And I do have one additional question that I didn't mention before, and that's it looks like you're taking out most of the trees, and to be fair, the trees were not in very good shape. Can we presume that you're going to be doing some landscaping and putting some trees back into the onto the lots?
Our friendly partners in Fairfax County government have tree requirements that I'm sure we have to follow. So yes, we could probably get you a copy of the landscape plan. It's done individually, right? It's all the individual lots.
There are multiple trees that are being planted from 8 to 10 per lot. So they're going to be fully planted with trees.
And I mean, there's just not a lot of room. So, and I hope, Nick, you took my slight joke in a nice way. But the landscape requirements in Fairfax County are some of the toughest in most of the jurisdictions in the states around us that you can name. So yes, there's a replanting plan. We're more than happy to share it. We have it on all 7. It's approved on 5. So we don't have it. Maybe when we get the last 2 approved, maybe we can, do we have a sales exhibit that shows that? Sometimes we'll have a sales exhibit. We'll figure out something and shoot something over to you, Scott, via Nick, and just to give you an idea. And then it's an illustrative thing, so it basically shows a drip line at a certain age. But yes, there was discussion about keeping some of those trees, but it really wasn't. It's so much excavation that the trees would end up dying anyhow. So we'll forward something to you once we get those last 2. We'll just do it in one package.
Thank you.
Sean, did you have a comment you wanted to make?
I was just going to speak to the county's requirements. We don't have an urban forester with us on the call today, but like Mark said, we do have we essentially have tree preservation or tree conservation requirements. Each individual lot is required to either preserve or plant a certain number of trees to achieve what we call a 10-year canopy coverage. So if the trees cannot be preserved, if they're not in good health, or if they're not expected to survive construction activities, small caliber trees will be planted based on what those trees would look like in 10 years. And so they get a certain square footage of credit based on that 10-year plan to achieve a percentage of coverage on each individual lot. And that's what he was speaking to as to what our requirements are for tree plantings on these individual infills.
Thank you.
Any other questions from any residents on Bluebill or Bellevue, Fort Hunt?
Yeah, I suspect that there may be some more questions because a lot of folks weren't able to join this call, but if we could pass those to you via Nick, that would be ideal. Thank you very much for your presentation and discussion about the project. It's very informative. Looks like we have maybe a few more questions from the group.
Keith, go ahead.
I have one request for Mike. If you're meeting on site with anyone in the near future, if you should just let me know, please. I would like to be present and also have the inspector that's going to be over those projects present as well.
Is that going to be Perlis Ely that's going to be there?
Yes, Perlis is the assigned inspector.
All right, well, there's no more questions from any residents nearby the development. We can wrap it up here, and yeah, Scott, feel free. I'll send you this recording and feel free to distribute it to other folks. Oh, sorry, there's another hand raised.
Could I just raise one question? The Mount Vernon Rec Center that's across the street is going to be closed and rebuilt roughly during that time. Are you aware of that? And is there any issue in coordination?
I'm not aware of it, but I can't imagine that there would be any issues with that.
Okay.
They're not starting until 2023.
Yeah, to add to that, sir. With the Mount Vernon Rec Center, they're still in the design phase for the renovations of that facility. So I think that's going to last a bit, like Ms. Simon said, into 2023 until they start construction. So we have a hand raised from Tajma.
Yes. Hi, how are you? There is currently a sidewalk on Fort Hunt running down the length of the church and then up the Bellevue. Is that in plans to remain, or will that be eliminated once the houses are placed?
It's be replaced.
That's gonna remain. There might be some broken sidewalk that occurs that would be replaced during development or house construction, and there's gonna be more aprons that are going to be going in for the driveway, so there will be cutting into that existing sidewalk.
But it's not being removed.
Thanks.
And it will stay open during development as well.
Brenda, go ahead.
Can we get our full crosswalk across Bellevue Boulevard? It's not a full crosswalk. I know that's a VDOT issue, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm
being recorded, so I can't say what I want to say. But there's that's outside of the purview of this project. How's that sound? Does that sound good?
Although our office can certainly reach out to VDOT, Brenda, if you'd like, about that. So, okay. Again, okay. Yeah, I'll send that to Peyton.
Scott, if you have others that after this, they look at this, just compile a list, and if you shoot them over to me, I'll get the answers, and you know, it may take a couple days, but we'll get the answers back to you, and then we can go from there.
Thank you very much, Mark. I do appreciate it, and thank you and your entire team for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us about this. We do appreciate it, and we're glad that you sound like you're a good neighbor, and we appreciate it.
And again, we'll forward you the contact information, and mean, there are things that we can and there's things that we can't do. And, but we're always willing to have a discussion. So.
Thank you.
We good? Thank you for your time.
All right, any other
Thank you,
final
Nick.
burning questions from anyone? Going once, going twice. All right. Again, thank you all for coming together, and I'll send this recording your way, Scott. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you now. Goodbye.
Thank you.